Time, I'd like to call the Physical Services Committee meeting for October 4th, 2021 to order. Please call the roll.
Counselor Hill.
Here.
Counselor Burridge.
Here.
Counselor Walker.
Here.
Counselor Gozick.
Here.
Could I have a motion to approve the minutes of our September 20th, 2021 meeting? Counselor Burridge, Counselor Walker.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Is there any old business to come before this committee? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business. Under communication, item number 1. Thomas Millar, owner of a commercial property located at 17 West Cuga Street, requests the use of public space in order to install a projecting sign. I see Mr. Millar's here. Did everyone have a chance to review the plan? We've seen this or something very similar in the past. It was approved in the past. Does anyone on the council have questions for Mr. Millar?
I just got one
Sure.
small question. Is everything current? That's what I'm
Yep,
asking.
everything is,
Taxes and stuff
Yep,
like that? 'Cause
everything
last
is
time it
current.
passed by.
that's my understanding.
Okay.
Did you want to give a description of the project, or, I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Just a projecting sign.
It's a sign.
Yep.
Projected sign, I think we got it approved in 2017, and actually kind of scale up in town, which is great.
Yeah, no, it's a great design, and I think it's fitting for all the improvements that are occurring downtown. Does anyone have any questions on this particular request? Okay. All right, could I have a motion, please? Counselor Walker, Counselor Gozick.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Item number 2, Thomas Millar, owner of a commercial property located at 17 West Cuga Street, requests the use of public space in order to create an emergency exit by removing the current doors and installing 2 metal rails. Would you like to explain this project?
So this is something we proposed in the past. My occupancy of the cellar door is limited to 49 right now. If we were able to do this, it's more like 140. Basically, the concept would be to have fabricated rails, universal metalworks, did a bit on it. Replace the built-in doors seasonally, put the rails up, and use that as an exit way for patrons. Every season, we put the built-in doors back for snow removal, once the sidewalk will be full. There are maybe some changes that have to be looked at, considering how we've proposed this in the past, now there's strips of grass that might impede the walkway. But actually, on this one, I don't expect necessarily approval, I think it needs to be reviewed.
Well, we actually have Mr. McGann here from zoning, so can you speak to that?
I did look at the flyover today. It looks like there's out to where the new grass patches are, there's about 11 feet. The proposed entryway is about 7 feet. But the Bilko door, correct me if I'm wrong, is right, the patches are north and south. The actual entryway is perfectly located in the opening where there's the concrete all the way up to the sidewalk. So it does provide more area and that space around it.
Okay.
So, yes, the grass does impede. If it was located anywhere else, it would narrow it down a little bit more. I think where it's located, just fortunately, lucky it's between the two patches of grass. If you were to I didn't check some different measurements today to check that, just because I noticed that there was green space there, but it's on the north side and the south side of the entryway.
Do you see any obstruction of pedestrian walkability or anything that would cause you any concern?
I think we'd be fine,
Okay.
honestly.
Okay.
Just
Counselor?
same thing, safety features, is there any problem you think with the safety of the?
No, honestly, I think we're good with that. I don't see any issue with it.
Perfect.
They would be semi-permanent rails, and the idea is similar to what the Gaslight Club has. Right, the stairway. The stairway's already in place. Interior-wise, we already sheetrock, there's lighting. You know, it's almost good to go, other than the concept of putting nicer looking rails than the Bilko doors and allowing just an emergency exit.
Yeah, I didn't see any issue, and the plans actually looks like an improvement, so any questions from the council? Okay, could I have a motion, please? Counselor Gozick, Counselor Burridge.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Okay, you're all set. Thank you. Yep. Okay, item number 3, DePaul Properties, owner of commercial property located at 220 East First Street, requests the use of public space in order to construct a vehicular barrier planter. Mr. McGann, do you have anything you wanted to speak on the DePaul request?
You're up.
Sorry. Got you running all over the place.
I also took some measurements on that. Reason for that barrier obviously is because the structure is so close to the intersection there. Honestly, think it's a great idea to have one there. So from the corner of the building to the inside of the sidewalk, there's about 14 feet, and there's about 24 feet from the building diagonally out to the rounded corner there. So it is, in relativity, if there were an accident there or somebody got errant there, it's pretty close. And the utilities are buried in that area, corner of the building right there. So I think, with that and their landscaping, I think it's actually a good idea. It's not gonna impede any visual issue for traffic. Probably in the long run, a good idea with the building that close to the street.
Okay, and no issues with snow removal, any other issues that you foresee?
No, because it's centered in the green space there, so they should have at least 5 or 6 feet on the inside of the sidewalk, for snow removal there.
Okay.
The barrier is actually, because the utilities are in there, it's not gonna be rooted in the ground, it would be movable if need
Okay.
be.
Counselor?
Who's gonna maintain it? Not the city, correct? They're gonna maintain it themselves. Very good.
Perfect. Okay, any other questions? Okay, could I have a motion, please? Counselor Walker, Counselor Burridge.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Item number 4, the Special Events Committee, through the Office of Economic Development, requests the Common Council authorize the mayor and/or deputy director to sign contracts within the budgeted allocation for the creepy crawl and tree lighting events. One procedural question, should the contract component of this be on Counselor Cordino's committee instead of mine? We generally deal with more physical items and not contracts.
Yeah,
The
we
events themselves would fall under us as well as
Mhm.
the waivers, but the contract itself should probably be approved through that committee.
Yeah, do you want to just move it over? I don't know how that works.
I don't know if we can do that. We can approve the event portion
And
right
then I'll
now.
put it as.
Okay, maybe an add-on or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can do that.
Any questions on this? They're both events that we've had in the past. Happy to see them occurring again. So, nothing? Okay, could I have a motion, please? Counselor Gozick, Counselor Walker.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
Is there any other business to come before this committee? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Counselor Burridge, Counselor Walker.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Counselor Walker.
Yes.
Counselor Gozick.
Yes.
At this time, I'd like to open the Administrative Services Committee meeting for October 4th. Please call the roll.
Counselor Cordino.
Here?
Counselor McBrearty.
Here.
Counselor Hill.
Here.
Counselor Plunkett.
Here.
Counselor Burridge.
Here.
I'd like a motion to approve the minutes of the September 20th, 2021 committee meeting. Counselor Plunkett, Counselor Hill?
Counselor Cordino.
Yes?
Counselor McBrearty.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Any old business? Seeing none. Item number 1, under communication. Mayor William J. Barlow Jr. requests authorization to execute an agreement with Barton and Lodadushi DPC for engineering services for the Oswego West Linear Riverwalk project in connection with flood damage from the 2017 FEMA flood disaster number 37188, and authorization for City Chamberlain Deborah Code to advance funds in the amount of $109,000. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you. In 2017, because of the flooding of high water, we were awarded a FEMA declaration for $1.738 million for the West Linear Riverwalk from really the pavilion overlook in the
come up with a better use of that space. So that's what this proposal is. The proposed fee to hire Barton and LaJudas to do their design work is $109,000. That's obviously can be reimbursed out of the $1.738 million. And just a reminder, this is similar to what we did at Harbor Trail, in Wright's Landing, in the International Pier, and out at Shore Road from our FEMA declarations. The declaration is 75% funded by FEMA, 12.5% funded by the state, and then we're responsible for our 12.5%.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Any questions from the council for the mayor? Yes.
Oh, no, I'm just really happy to tell you the truth. I've received so many complaints, and again, all of us are down by the river. It's one of the most important areas when we're talking about natural resources and tourist attractions, and just, living in Oswego, having access to that beautiful area, I mean, on a daily basis. I mean, people would come from far and wide, but oftentimes, when it's so dilapidated, it's kind of, it's really a shame, because we've worked so hard to improve the waterfront along the lake shore. So I think this is incredible that we're going to be able to do this, and I know my constituents will be very happy. But I was just going to ask the mayor, is there projected time frame for the project, next couple of years?
Well, obviously, I try to push these projects as quickly as we can. So, once we approve this, they'll start designing it. In a perfect world, and after doing this a few times, I'd like to think they'll take October, November, probably through April to come up with a design. We'd be able to bid it out shortly after that, and then it's up to the contractor's schedule. I've done this long enough to say that 2022 is probably ambitious, but that'll be the goal. But knowing bureaucracy and how it all works, we'll probably look at 2023 for physical work to actually be done.
No, thank you.
All right, anybody else? Seeing nobody else, can I have a motion, please? Councilor McBreary, Councilor Burridge.
Before I call roll, I just need to know who's read the resolution.
Engineering.
Thank you. Counselor Cordino.
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty.
Yes.
Counselor Hill.
Yes.
Counselor Plumble.
Yes.
Counselor Burridge.
Yes.
Item number 2, Mayor William J. Barlow Jr. requests several transfers of funds within the Oswego Police Department in the total amount of $45,000 and a budget amendment in the amount of $75,000 to account A31200102 to fund additional police coverage for special events, enforcement details, investigations, and other initiatives as assigned. Mr. Mayor?
So the 75 plus 45 is about $120,000. $45,000 of that is already budgeted money. We're just looking to transfer the funds and some of the accounts into the fund that we can use to beef up staffing on shift and fund some special details in investigations and enforcement details. So the reason we're able to transfer the $45,000 is a mixture of a couple things. Some trainings that we plan to go to this year have been canceled or postponed because of COVID, where the other party, not OPD, canceled or postponed them. And then some technology purchases that we plan to take out of the OPD's account were actually made by the technology department, so there's some funds left over there that we'd like to transfer. And then a $75,000 amendment to supplement that. If you remember back in 2019, we did something similar. We actually transferred or did a budget amendment for $90,000 to support quality of life patrols, foot patrols, bike patrols, special event coverage, and then some special details, usually at the counselor's or my office requests in the wards. So really we're just doubling down on that. I think we can all agree we get pretty good results when we try to beef up any coverage in a particular area, or we have a specific issue that we want to focus on. Usually OPD gets in there and gives some special attention to it, and we can resolve or at least resolve the problem, or at least make some headway and make a bit of a difference. So what we're calling for is to use this funding hopefully by the end of 2021, if the calendar allows, and really increase the amount of foot patrols, quality of life patrols in the neighborhoods, special details that we'd want to cover, and some homelessness canvassing efforts. We've heard a lot of complaints come in where people think there's an increase of homeless people in the parks in downtown, and the fact is there is. And I would point to really bail reform and the changes made at the state level, because traditionally these people are the folks who would be locked up in jail, and now they're not in jail or awaiting trial, and they're out wandering around downtown and in the park. So it really should come as a surprise to nobody that there's more of these folks wandering around, because normally they'd be locked up for the petty crimes they commit on a regular basis, similar to the case I highlighted in July of 2021, where the one individual was arrested 16 times in 4 days. Well, that's an individual you saw at Stewart's and Big M at Westside Burn Dairy, who after the third or fourth arrest would have been in jail awaiting trial, and now he's walking around. So, you know, times that by several dozen people, and you can see why there seems to be an increase of homeless people on the river walks and throughout downtown. So this is a way to combat that, where our officers will approach those people, try to get them connected to services and off the streets, especially with cold weather coming. And then we'd like to increase the amount of attention that we're giving to some drug enforcement patrols and investigations and other special details as they come up, usually from the wards, as I mentioned. So that's really the quick summary, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the mayor, from the council, public? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Councilor Hill, Councilor Plunkett.
And again, I'll just need to know who's preparing the resolution.
OPD.
Thank you. Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Burge?
Yes.
Item number 3, the engineering department requests the common council approve the low bid submitted by Brown and Caldwell in the amount of $75,000 for engineering services for the West Side Wastewater Treatment Plant Infrastructure Project. Mr. Jeff Hinderleiter, city engineer, up to the plate.
Here we are. So the first thing you'll notice is that Brown and Caldwell is not the low bid by the memo that we sent you. They're actually the low bid, as I'm going to disqualify Jacob's bid, primarily because we do lowest qualified bidder for our consultants, and we review their proposals. And in general, after reviewing Jacob's proposal, I don't think they understood what we were asking for. So they billed us in their proposal for 120 hours worth of work. To give you a sense, Brown and Caldwell, they billed us for their proposals over 500 hours. And same thing with GHD, they're over 500 hours worth of work. And so I think that Jacobs failed to understand the magnitude of work that we're requesting. So what this is related to is the city was awarded an engineering planning grant, which is a grant that allows us to hire a firm to put together an EFC report that allows us to go for grant funding for larger projects. And so the project that we're looking at having them do is some facility modeling internally in the plant to try to identify the sources of our violations. We have our secondary clarifiers are repeat offenders for our DEC violations, and some discrete analysis needs to occur on why that's happening. We've tried this before. We actually hired CNS companies a number of years ago to solve this problem, and the problem is still persisting. The Camden Group has worked hard at the facility, and they've optimized the facility as best as we can, and so now the next step is to find out from an engineering perspective, is there anything we can do in our process and any retrofits that we can do to the clarifiers to prevent these from happening, because each one represents a fine, and that's what raises the radar, so to speak, towards a consent decree. And so that's kind of the heart of what this is. And so I recommend that we go with Brown and Caldwell's bid. They are the lower between them and GHD. They've also done an asset management plan for the facility. They're extremely familiar with the West Side plant, and so we will get a lot of bang for our buck out of our hiring them.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the council for city engineer?
To understand the funding on this one, and because you're going to see it in a little bit, is that the grant was for $30,000, but then we have a $6,000 match in there, so we actually get $24,000. So we will be making up the remainder of that using hopefully our sewer fund is what we're hoping to use for it. But just so you know, the grant was for $30,000. The price is higher because we're trying to extend that work, that once you get the engineer working, let's keep them working rather than have to bring them back a second time.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Counselor Hill, Counselor McCreary.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Burge?
Yes.
Item number 4, the Engineering Department requests the Common Council approve the declaration of the West Side Wastewater Treatment Plant Infrastructure Project as a Type 2 action under the New York Seeker Act.
So I'm going to talk on these next 6 resolutions as one. My apologies to the council president, who's going to then have to read all of those just in sequence, but I can at least wrap up my part of it quickly, hopefully. So as part of the EFC funding, the city needs to pass a number of resolutions in order to get the grant funding. Part of that is seeker, is doing the seeker process. You're going to see 2 sets of projects here. One is a EPG grant, which is the engineering planning grant. The other will be the green infrastructure grant that the city also received, which was worth $1 million. That's for the east side plant, and particularly dealing with an aeration project. And so for both of these, we are declaring both of them to be Type 2 actions, which means they're exempt from seeker categorically. So there's no further environmental action required on our part for these projects. You're also going to have a resolution for each project that puts me as the official designee, and this allows the FC to communicate with me and me to work through the process and the project, to act as that point person. It does not authorize me to sign official contracts with the city. That, of course, rests in the mayor's hand and your hands to approve. This is simply putting me as the project designee. The language in the resolutions are that which EFC actually puts out to use. And then the final is a financing resolution, which is getting the money and approvals in place for the project so that EFC knows we're committed to financially committed to get the work done. So the 2 projects that these comprise are the engineering planning grant at the west side and an aeration project at the east side. And on that project, that's going to save the city money. So our tanks, we have aeration tanks where we process our waste. And the idea is that introduces oxygen into the process, keeps our bugs fed and hungry. Those blowers run 24/7, 365. So any energy improvement we can do on those elements, the city sees real savings. Usually our highest utility costs are those exact systems. So this project, why we receive the funding, is because they're quite antiquated. And so that project will pursue contract documents in order to upgrade that to make it more innovative and a lot more energy efficient.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the council? That was a mouthful.
You're going to have the mouthful of reading all then.
Can I have a motion, please? Counselor Plunkett, Counselor Burge.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Burge?
Yes.
Item number 5, the Engineering Department requests the Common Council designate City Engineer Jeff Hindeleiter to act as the authorized representative for the West Side Wastewater Treatment Plant Infrastructure Project. Any questions? Seeing none, can I have a motion? Counselor Burge, Counselor Hill.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Burge?
Yes.
Item number 6, the Engineering Department requests a budget amendment in the amount not to exceed $51,000 to be used towards the local match of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation Wastewater Infrastructure Engineering Planning Grant that the city was awarded for the West Side Wastewater Treatment Plant Infrastructure Project. Any questions? Seeing none. Can I have a motion? Councilor McBrearty, Councilor Plunkett.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBrearty?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Burge?
Yes.
Item number 7, the Engineering Department requests the Common Council approve the declaration of the East Side Wastewater Treatment Plant Green Innovation Project as a Type 2 action under the New York Seeker Act. Any questions? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Counselor Burridge, Counselor Hill.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBurney?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Burge?
Yes.
Item number 8, the Engineering Department requests the Common Council designate City Engineer Jeff Hinderleiter to act as the authorized representative for the East Side Wastewater Treatment Plant Green Innovation Project. Any questions? Seeing none, can I have a motion? Counselor Plunkett, Counselor Hill.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBurney?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Burge?
Yes.
Item number 9, the Engineering Department requests a budget amendment in the amount not to exceed $1,094,000 to be used towards the local match of the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation Green Innovation Grant that the city was awarded for the East Side Wastewater Treatment Plant Green Innovation Project. Any questions? Seeing none, can I have a motion? Counselor McBurney, Counselor Burridge.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBurney?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Burge?
Yes.
Item number 10, the Department of Public Works is requesting the city Chamberlain be authorized for continued use of the ice rink capital reserve for payments to William Scott's for the trailer/locker room rental and to Spectrum for internet service. I don't see anybody here, but I think this is self-explanatory. We just need to pay for these particular items, and it comes out of the ice rink capital project reserves. Any questions? Seeing none, can I have a motion? Counselor Plunkett, Counselor Hill.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBurney?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Burge?
Yes.
Item number 11, the Zoning and Planning Department requests a budget amendment to the Zoning Board Contracted Services Account A80100440 in the amount of $14,683.95 for new carpet and flooring for the third floor of Oswego City Hall. Jeff?
Hard to follow up the engineering department, but I'm just looking for the table scraps, about 14,600. If you've been on the third floor of City Hall, you've witnessed that the flooring is well outdated and a bit of an embarrassment, and we're looking to replace all the flooring in the, right from the elevator all the way in that whole common area and through the planning and zoning office that's in the back that used to be the conference room.
Am I correct in stating that that was the original flooring from the 1980 edition they put on?
That would not surprise me one bit.
That would make
It's
it
definitely seen better
41 years
days.
old.
Yeah.
Got our money's worth.
Yeah. Got our money's worth, but it's time.
Any concerns or questions from the council? Counselor Hill?
Just like the last time we approved flooring, this is my uncle's store, so I just wanted to disclose that. David Hill. So, but again, no financial interest, no connection to the business, so I will be voting on this.
Thank you, Counselor Hill. Any other concerns? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please? Counselor Burridge, Counselor Plunkett.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBurney?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Burge?
Yes.
I believe that was the last item. Is there anything else? Seeing none, can I have a motion to adjourn? Counselor McBurney, Counselor Hill.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor McBurney?
Yes.
Counselor Hill?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Burge?
Yes.
That's all. Good night.
You say so.